Hello, this is Mitch Free, live from IMTS in the Creators Lounge. Hashtag We Are All Creators. And I am excited to be here today with Matt Mowell from Lyndex.
Yes,
Matt,
sir.
thanks for joining me.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Yeah. So you are a really interesting guy, which is why I wanted to get you in here. You're not, you're in sales for Lyndex,
Yes.
but you're far from typical, I think.
Right.
Tell us a little bit about your background in the industry. And first of all, how did you get to manufacturing in the first place?
Well, kind of really, to be honest, which is kind of a crazy, cool story.
Okay, that's what I want to hear.
All right. So my father worked with Gwinnett County down in Georgia, Gwinnett County Sheriff's Department.
Okay.
All right. I wanted to be on the K-9 team. So graduating high school, you had to be 21 to be on the K-9 team. I was 18.
What was interesting about the K-9 team?
I just love dogs.
Okay.
Okay.
Right.
So my father-in-law now, at the
Yeah.
time was my, girlfriend's father,
Yeah.
is looking through Gwinnett Tech book and says, hey, this sounds like woodworking, except for it's with metal. So I like to work with wood. So I said, hey, I'll give it a try. So that's kind of how I got into it.
Okay.
Went to Gwinnett Tech, did machine tool technology.
Okay. So you went to trade school.
Went to trade school, took CNC after that.
Okay.
Went to work with a machine tool distributor.
Okay.
And as a sales trainee. So they were looking for someone.
But how much did you really know when you came out of trade school?
A little, but not much. But here's the next opportunity.
Yeah.
I was fortunate enough to go do a apprenticeship at Hardinge Machine Tool Builders.
Oh, at Hardinge.
In
Wow.
Elmira, New York.
Oh, wow.
That's where I really took off.
Okay.
Applications, working with all the different machines was very nice. And I got a lot of experience. That was the big kicker for me.
Yeah.
That
Yeah. I know when
apprenticeship.
I went to trade school as well. When I came out, I had a base,
Sure.
but I thought I knew more than I really did once I went to work making real parts in a real shop.
Right.
I was humbled quickly.
Definitely.
So when you went to Hardinge, did you have a focus? Were you working on turning, milling, or
everything? Application. So at that point, my job would be, we'd sell a machine and I would go in, do the installation, do the training.
Okay.
And then typically their customer's first part or second part. So I would teach them programming and how to run the machine and leave them, ready to go. So throughout the years, just multiple machine installations and turnkeys and service. So I know on the floor type stuff.
That's gotta be incredibly challenging, because I'm sure the customers are going to throw at you the most problem of parts. They're not going to give you the easy stuff.
No.
Right?
Which I don't even want the easy stuff.
Okay.
I like the challenge.
Okay.
Because you've worked with me, solution. I like to go in and help people.
Yeah.
I like to look for, what's your toughest thing that you're working on right now?
Yeah.
Because there's a good possibility that I've ran across it or something very similar.
Sure. That which I think is a great background, that you've seen so much real world application.
Yes.
All right. So Hardinge, then what do you do?
Well, continued through as service manager, applications manager. Then I went into machine tool sales.
Okay.
So machine tool sales, now I'm actually calling on a lot of the customers that I taught to program machines and run machines.
Okay.
So they have my trust. They trust me.
They trust you. They know what you're talking about.
Sure.
You're a salesperson that has gotten their hands dirty.
Yes.
And with them in a lot of cases.
Yes.
Yeah. And so how was that transition to sales? Was it uncomfortable? Was it
wasn't
natural?
Uncomfortable. It was natural, just again, because I love to help people.
Yeah.
And that's kind of how I connect with people to help them. I'll tell you, one of the challenges really is turning off, trying to put on a different hat, because I'm out, in sales now. We've got to sell machine tools, right?
Yeah.
And so I'm still, have my customers calling me, hey, Matt, I'm having trouble with this machine, and I'll help them and then try to sell a machine and bounce back and forth. So there was a little transition kind of from there. But.
Yeah. I've kind of witnessed your style through the years of sales, and there's a I haven't read many books in my life, to be honest. I'm just not a big reader. I listen to a lot. And I'll read a lot of papers and articles, but books I don't have the attention span for it a lot of time. But one book that I did read was called The Greatest Salesman. And it was by John Patterson that founded NCR, National Cash Register. And I remember this quote in the first chapter of that book, and it was like, that's all I need to know. And the quote was, people love to buy, they hate to be sold.
Right. Absolutely.
Right.
Yeah.
And just present the solution, talk to them about the options, and let them buy. Mm-hmm. And I've witnessed your style, so I know that's how you operate.
Right. Yeah.
So it's that quote came to mind when I thought about that. All right. So you do that, and then fast forward, you've joined some other machine tool companies.
Yep. I've worked applications engineers, worked with Morris South on Akuma.
Okay.
Sold Mazak machine tools.
Good.
So now here at
do you have a favorite machine tool brand?
Yes, the ones that use Lyndex-Nikken tool holders.
Great answer right there. Great answer right there. Okay, so all that happens, and then how did you find your way to Lyndex?
You know, I've always wanted to work for a manufacturer. You know, I've worked for distributors, and just I like to kind of finite onto a single product.
Okay.
You know, you have a broad array of products. I wanted to kind of go in as a manufacturer's rep. Yeah. Have a smaller line of products so that I could be a specialist. Yeah. And that's kind of, you know, I feel a lot of times a machine tool spindle specialist. That's kind of what I think.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, with your pedigree, I'm sure you could walk around this show and anybody would be happy to hire you. So why did you choose Lyndex?
People. I had a very good, comforting feeling with everybody. Okay. Energetic. It's like a family type company. You know, everybody, we see each other, you know, at the summer meeting, you're hugging everybody and, hey, man, how you doing? Oh, that's just awesome. A very good family style, really, environment. You know, you're rewarded for your hard work. Right. You know, they lay out a full, detailed, you know, what they would like for you to do. So well you organized. Know your expectations. If you don't know your expectations, how can you meet them? Yeah. So we know that. So we know how to meet them. And
it's actually Lyndex-Nikken, I should probably be saying correctly.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Talk to us a little bit about the company of Lyndex-Nikken.
Well, you know, we have anything from 5C collets, R8 collets back in the day with Lyndex. Nikken purchased Lyndex, so now we have Lyndex-Nikken holders, rotary tables, presetters, shrink fit machines, live tools, you know, accessories in your shop. Okay. You know, you buy a machine tool, very important thing that you know, work holding, and how are you going to hold the cutting tool? Right. Right. I could have any brand machine, but unless I have those two factors, my process is broken.
Right. Where's Lyndex based?
Our headquarters is in Illinois. Okay. Mundelein, Illinois.
Good. Okay. So you talk about that, right? Tool holders, work holding, heat shrink, tool presetters, rotary tables. You know, when people buy a machine, they'll go spend a lot of money to buy a high-end machine.
Yes.
But it's only as good as the tooling, right?
Absolutely.
And so where do you find the mentality in the market today that people are still grasping that I have a good machine, I have to buy high-end tooling? Or do you think people are saving money where they shouldn't be trying to?
Well, you know, it's funny that you say saving money because a lot of times it's just the opposite. So, you know, we use a return on investment strategy on everything that we do. A tool holder. My tool holder may be $350. And this brand X is $175. Sure. But that $175 tool holder cost a lot more money than the $350 tool holder cutting tools.
Yeah. Yeah.
How many $100 end mills do you have to run through before this tool holder, my advanced holder, is paid for itself?
Yeah. Yeah.
So lesser holders actually cost more money than advanced holders.
Yeah. I mean, quick real story here. We're running some parts in my shop out of A286 stainless. Yeah. And that's really hard material to machine. And we're using these Harvey end mills from Kennametal, which are incredible. They're expensive. Right. Like, I don't know, $140, $150 a piece. Yep. And we're getting like 6 parts per end mill. And then you stopped by and said, hey, maybe you got some run out on this thing. Maybe you're using a cheaper Cat 40 ER holder.
Yep.
Let's try a Lyndex milling chuck.
Yep.
And we did. And so we doubled that life.
Oh, yeah.
Almost. We're getting 10 to 12 parts per end mill now. So if you think about it, $140, $150 end mill, and we're doubling the life, and we're running hundreds and hundreds of those parts. I mean, the payback on that milling chuck was in hours.
Before the end of the day.
Before the end of the day.
Now that, if you think about it, that milling chuck, those $147 end mills, now that milling chuck is making you $147 every time you run 3 parts.
That's an ROI, right?
Right.
Yeah.
It's simple.
That is an ROI. Yep. Okay. So, making sure your tools are held well, run out is minimized, they're not slipping out, all that stuff, super important. I think people get that. But then the next step of that, when you start getting into productivity, repeatable production, keeping spindles up, what do you recommend?
Tool presetters, number one. That's a way to keep a library of your holders.
Okay.
If you look at a presetter.
So talk to me. So I'm not sure everyone really understands what a presetter does and the value of it.
All right. So a presetter is an offline system to get your tool length offsets for your machine tool. So, you buy a $300,000, $400,000 horizontal machining center that needs to be running, cutting chips all the time, right? If that machine tool spindle is not cutting chips, you're not making money.
Okay.
So I'm using a $300,000 or $400,000 machine tool to touch off tools.
Okay.
No, that machine's running. I spend $20,000 on an offline tool presetter.
And is that just for length offsets?
Diameter offsets, setting boring heads. I think we've talked about that a little bit before.
Yeah.
Checking run out on holders. So now that when the guy changes over to the next job, I download all of my offsets into the machine tool.
You can download them straight into the control?
Yep. I can do USB. I can do Ethernet. And then I pull the program up, hit cycle start. It automatically populates all of the offsets. Okay. You're ready to go. You set your fixture offset on the part. You're cutting parts again.
Okay. Wow. So real productivity saving.
Absolutely.
That's another one of those things that you would say pays for itself in a hurry.
Absolutely. 6 months, 3 to 6 months, that presetter pays for itself. And we have very nice ROI calculators where we can type in how many machines you're running, what your shop rate would be.
Okay.
And it'll show you, boom, this thing pays for itself.
Right. And then talk to me for a moment. I'm not sure everyone also understands heat shrink.
Okay.
Why? And then I understand your heat shrink machine has a feature that a lot don't have.
Right. Absolutely.
Talk about the value of heat shrink and that machine.
Well, on all tool holders, there's 4 main components that you're looking for, 4 bullet points. And that would be gripping force, that would be accuracy or run out, that would be rigidity or vibration dampening, and then also balance. Those are the 4 characteristics that you're looking for. Shrink fit, you have very good gripping force, you have very low run out. Okay. In certain applications, vibration dampening, not so.
Okay.
Because I have a stiff holder, solid carbide, there's no vibration, components. But one of the cool things about our shrink fit machine is its application. Everything's application driven, right? Everything.
Yeah.
One of the cool things about our shrink fit machine is our rotating head heater.
Okay.
So a lot of times with shrink fit, as we talked about vibration dampening.
Okay.
If you break a tool on a shrink fit tool holder, it typically, right at the end of the nose of the holder, or actually down inside the holder a little bit.
Okay.
It's very hard to get that out.
Yeah, I haven't thought about that. Like how are you going to get it out when it breaks in there and it's shrink fitted
right
in there? Yeah.
So
how do you get it out?
Our unit, we can actually rotate our heater, our induction head.
Okay.
Set the tool on top, push the button to heat our tool, and it just drops right out.
And it drops out.
Yes. Other manufacturers, you may have to try to heat it and go up underneath the thing and
push it out
with every customer that's came by our booth, and I've showed them our shrink fit machine, showed them that feature, and they're like, oh,
it's a simple innovation but so important.
Yes, absolutely.
Wow. And when we think about shrink fit, it seems to be that it's also easier to get like long reach stuff.
Absolutely.
Because you don't have the head of a collet or a
It's
chuck.
narrow, small nose, definitely.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I think they're starting to tell me we got to start to wind things up here.
Sure.
So, well, what would you like to leave people with about you and about Lyndex? Give me both of those.
Well, I would leave people with me that, really everybody in our company, guys like me, we're solution providers. We want to come into your shop like I did with my toolbox. We want to find an issue where you're having trouble. That's how we want to build our relationship with you.
Right.
Lyndex-Nikken, we didn't talk too much about our SK collet chuck.
Okay.
That's our, bread and butter, small diameter nose, high gripping force, less run out. SK, and come see us at our booth.
Yeah, Matt Mowell, easy to find on LinkedIn. Great. I love the videos and things you post of your customer examples.
Yes.
I learned so much from that. You're doing a great job helping spread the word. And I appreciate the help, and I appreciate you taking the time to sit here with me today. I'm Mitch Free, live here at IMTS Creators Lounge. #WeAreAllCreators.